Hey everyone, it's Natalie. I'm back again today. I know y'all want me to go live, but I only really got like one person that wanted me to go live at 1:30. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go live or not, but I will try to go live at 1:30. So a lot of you guys voted on the poll that yes, you would like to hear a lot more about my story. A lot of you want to focus on healing. So I think today's video is going to be focusing on healing and how to overcome it. The unfortunate part about healing is that you're always going to be traumatized. The trauma does start to fade over time, and it is not a repetitive cycle psychologically in your head at all times. It does tend to fade. I'm trying to get the glare out of my glasses, guys. I'm sorry. I don't even know where it's coming from, but unfortunately, through my life experience of not only being traumatized as a child, which took me decades to get over, when I started being traumatized by my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and even my brother-in-law, and when I recognized what was going on, because see, for so long, because I had been abused as a child, I didn't realize I was being abused by my mother-in-law until I started healing from my trauma as a child. Now, I will say, when I first met her, because I have really good intuition, she didn't seem like a normal individual that you would encounter in everyday life. You know, like sometimes you meet people and they have this like gaze, like they don't blink. And I noticed that about her right away, that she didn't blink like a normal person, and still to this day, she doesn't. And a lot of these people that have that gaze, they have a tendency to clear their throat a lot. They'll go like throughout the whole time that you're with them, they're constantly clearing their throats and not caring about your opinions when you talk to them. They're very argumentative people. Like, let's say that you're having a normal conversation over dinner with them. They are constantly putting their two opinions in it to make it seem like they're right, you're wrong, to make you look like a fool. And they do this to belittle you and embarrass you. And although it might be your story you're telling, although it might be your experience that you're sharing with people at a dinner table, or your successions, or things that have happened in your life, a narcissist will interrupt in mid-sentence of you telling this story to either correct you on grammar, or correct you on the things that you experienced as a person. So the narcissist hasn't experienced it. You experienced it. You tell the story. But the narcissist will come back and start saying, well, the reason why that happened, Natalie, is because this happened or that happened, or have you ever thought about this or that, and things like that. And so right away, when I met my mother-in-law, I could just tell something was very off with her. See, at this time, I hadn't lived with my mom for a long time. So I wasn't used to being around a narcissist for a while. So although I had seen signs the first few months of being in her life at 15, I just noticed odd guys, it's my dyslexia, mannerisms from her. The way that she would put things, everything was in order. She liked things a certain way. If you were at her home or a dinner table, and you didn't have a napkin on your lap, she would say, your napkin's right there, Natalie. Make sure you put it on your lap. Things like that, even if the food hadn't came yet and I hadn't had the chance to do so. And if I was using the wrong utensil, because we'd go to fancy restaurants or the country club, and because I wasn't around that, and I just know one fork, one spoon, one knife, and a butter knife, I would just use what I knew, you know. But she was constantly correcting me. No, that's the salad, or that's the steak knife, or that's the this knife or that knife. And so I caught on very early, and especially that first time encounter with her, the way that she didn't blink and was like staring at me, like trying to read me, even though I hadn't really spoken a word besides, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Natalie, thank you for inviting me for dinner. Her gaze was frightening. And because I have good intuition and I'm an empath, I knew, oh my God, something's wrong with her. And that first encounter while we're eating dinner, she corrected me on how to cut steak, how to eat mashed potatoes, how to use the utensils, to put a napkin on my lap, this was the big one. I had my elbows on the table. This is before the food even came. I had my elbows on the table talking and all that. And she tapped me because I was sitting next to her. And she tapped me on the leg and in front of everyone. And it wasn't quietly in my ear. Natalie, it's not proper etiquette to have your elbows on the table. However, her youngest son had his elbows on the table. And so I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, this is a rich family. I didn't know etiquette. So I took them off, and I had my hands on my lap like this. And she reached over, took my hand, and placed it on top of my other hand on my lap. And so right away, that first encounter, I was like, holy crap, I'm dealing with somebody that I've never really dealt with before. And I thought, well, maybe she's trying to teach me etiquette. And at first I thought, well, maybe she's just being kind and trying to teach me proper etiquette. And in my 15-year-old brain, I thought, oh, that was nice. And so as the years progressed, I just noticed that she never blinked, and she was always clearing her throat, and she was just doing weird, bizarre things, like even scolding her husband at the table. If her husband tried to help her or order or something like that at a restaurant, she, in front of everyone, would say, no, Jan, you're not getting that. You're getting this, and we're going to share it. And like when we had went to vacation with them and the restaurant was closing, and the waitress was nice enough to, because it was 15 minutes before, nice enough to get us a to-go order, Jan told her, hey, we'll just go somewhere else. She goes, no, they're going to go ahead and give us our order. So when it came out in boxes, she opened her box and started eating. And my father-in-law said, no, we need to go to the picnic tables outside and eat. She needs to leave for her break because she has, the restaurant to run at dinner time. And she says, I don't care. And so she started eating. And everybody there was like, we didn't know what to do. I didn't eat. My son was super embarrassed. My husband's staring at me. And so she tells everyone, open your box and start eating. So I open my box. I put the mayonnaise on the burger. I take one bite and I go, I think I'm going to save this for later because I actually had a little bit of a snack before I came. So I closed the box because I felt so embarrassed, and I felt so bad for that waitress. And the waitress told her off. And I'm so happy that she did. Okay. And telling her how rude she's being. And so the waitress ended up leaving and locking the door on us. And so the cook had to unlock the door to let us out. The cook was pissed. I did not eat that food. My husband did not eat that food. And my son did not eat that food. We all dumped it. And then we went back to our hotel, and they went back to theirs to rest. And we went out to eat because we didn't trust the food. And so when like traumatic things, and that's not even like really traumatic things. And I know this is about healing, but I'm telling you, like little things like this causes CPTSD. And so over time, those little actions of the narcissist, of the CPTSD, starts to become almost like a PTSD, even though they're little things, but they add up into big things. And so you start being traumatized. And when you start being traumatized by these people, and you're trapped in a situation where you don't know how to get out, your husband recognizes it, or maybe he doesn't, or he finally sees it when he sees what's happening to his wife, which some husbands or wives don't see it. Over time, they start to see it, or they protect their mother. And if they're protecting their mother, my suggestion to you is that the marriage isn't going to last. And if you want to stay in a marriage where the mother rules your marriage and causes you trauma constantly, you have to ask the question to yourself, is it worth it? I don't care if it's about finances, okay? You might have to get a job, or maybe you have a job where you can support yourself. You have to make that decision. Do you want to be traumatized for the rest of your life? Or are you going to say, you know what? He's a mama's boy. He's not ever going to stick up for me. I don't think I'll ever be able to wake him up. See, my husband was already awoken to all this because of the way he was treated. And so it was very easy for me. I didn't even have to show him. He saw it himself just through her actions of the way she treated me, and her always pulling him to secret meetings, trying to break us up, getting us to get divorced after I was SA'd by the maintenance man, and she was trying to help me. And so all these things add up. So when you're dealing with also healing from trauma from your childhood, and you stand up and you start to heal from that, and you're strong enough to say no more with your parents, and you have seen that because you went through that with your parents, that now you're going through it with your in-laws, you start to recognize that you're right back into an abusive family dynamic. And so when you heal, and it takes a long time to heal from your own family trauma, when you start to say no to your very own biological family and heal from that, it gives you the strength to say no more to the abuse from your spouse's parents. And this gives you the courage to actually stand up and say, I will no longer take this. And in some ways, it's not a blessing, but it is a blessing. If you went through traumatic childhood experience and you're healing from that, it's a blessing in a way that you have the strength to say no to the mother-in-law abuse. And so it gives you the power and the strength and the courage and the ability to stand up and say no more. And when you get to that point, you go no contact. Gray rock is a bunch of BS. I don't know why people on the internet say go low contact. Low contact is only telling you that you are allowing abuse still in your life. And so if you want to heal from not only your childhood trauma, at the same time you're healing from your narcissistic in-laws trauma, it gives you the courage and the strength, and you become a superhuman to lay boundaries and set rules to fight against the neglect and discomfort that and abuse that the mother-in-law or father-in-law or brother or sister-in-law has bestowed upon you. And when you do that, what happens is the siblings' roles reverse. So my husband was the golden child. His brother was the scapegoat. That's why he was the clown of the family, because when his mom was treating him abusive, he used to make jokes about it in front of her face and laugh about how she was acting. And he made everything a joke because he was protecting himself. He didn't want to be hurt like that. So when my husband was not going to do what his parents wanted, which was to get rid of me, they switched the roles. And so then my brother-in-law got on my in-laws' side, and he became the golden child, which she's always wanted or craved to be, because he dealt with his pain and neglect and abuse from his parents through being a clown, the class clown, so he wouldn't be emotionally scarred. So when he became the golden child, and it's very apparent when that happens in the family dynamic, because especially the mother, will start spoiling the scapegoat, and the scapegoat realizes that now they're the golden child, which they have been craving for a long time. So when that happens, they will turn on their siblings, spouses, and children. They might pretend like they are still have a good bond, but what they're doing is going back and telling the mother-in-law everything that the brother or sister is telling them, which makes the situation worse. And so let me go back to healing. So when all of this is happening, not only are you healing from the neglect, but because the roles have reversed, now the old golden child, which now is the scapegoat, starts to be abused too and neglected. And so now you are dealing with two people that have to heal together. And my message today is that when you are healing, you also need to heal with your partner. So if that means counseling, therapy, having meetings with him, writing diaries, and switching the diaries of your spouses to read how they feel about each circumstance, helps a lot, because it helps each partner understand the healing and the trauma that they're healing from. And it's really important that it is handwritten, because when you handwrite something, it is written with intent. It is written out of love. When you go on a computer and you write a diary, it is not written out of love, insightfulness. What word should I use? like vulnerability, because I think when you handwrite something, you're showing them vulnerability, that I actually took time and effort to write this instead of type it. I'm showing you that I am vulnerable, and I want you to read mine. I want to read yours. That way, you two can come together and even create a diary of your own where you sit together and write. Maybe one person writes a paragraph, another person writes another paragraph, and you write and share a diary together on how to fix the healing process. I will tell you, it's going on 6 years to get over this trauma, okay? It's not an easy task. I was talking to myself in the shower, in the car, arguing. Any chance I had alone, my hamster wheel, like I like to say, my cycling was out of control. I couldn't focus on anything. But when I started doing handwritten diaries of my emotions, and yes, sometimes I did do it on a computer, because I've been writing a book. It's been, I've been writing it for years, because it's just so much that, and plus I don't have a lot of time. So that little bit of time I do have, I write, but, and I think it's important that when you're healing, your partner also needs to heal. If you're in a relationship where you see no hope in sight for your husband, and waking up, even though he has seen the abuse, you've cried to him, you've showed him, he's witnessed it, even at family gatherings when things happen, and the mother, father, or brother, or sister-in-laws have said something rude or inconsiderate to you at that party or event, or just like a cookout, and you pull your partner aside and say, hey, this happened, I didn't appreciate it, can you address it to your mom? And they don't. That is a lost cause in a marriage. He is not going to stick up for you. He is a mama's boy, and it is very hard to change a golden child, because they have been dedicated. It's mommy dearest syndrome. They have been dedicated to their mother for so long that you are not as important as their mother. So during these healing process times that you're dealing with, you need to find ways to heal with your partner. You need to heal on your own. Write journals, diaries, things that need to be changed. You need to have lists that you exchange with your husband about the things that affect you when you're around your mother-in-law, if you're no contact or contact, what can and can't be discussed. And if those boundaries are crossed, you ask your partner to go upstairs in the nightstand that you exchange the letters of, whatever it is that bothered you, or remorse of the things, and reread them. And as he rereads them, you both need to set. So in my bedroom, my bed's here. We have a nightstand here. We have a nightstand there. Okay. So if you're asking him to go upstairs to read his, you also need to go upstairs and read yours with your back turned on the bed, reading the rules. Okay. Especially if you're no contact and he's in low contact, you need to remind him of these rules, because it's going to take practice. He's going to break rules, or she's going to break rules along the way. But over practice and time, you will no longer have to go upstairs and read these rules, because they will be ingrained within your being. And you will see a significant change in your partner when it comes to abiding by these rules. The healing process is not overnight. You have to work on yourself. You can't wake up one day and say, I'm going to heal myself in a week. It doesn't happen that way. It could take years. It took me almost 6 years to get to the point where I am. And if you look at all my videos, you will see how many years it has taken me to get to where I am today. And that is a reminder to you guys that if you're struggling to rush this process, it's going to end in disaster. So go back to my videos and see my progress through the years, the almost 6 years of me going step by step. Now, I created this program on my own. I didn't go on YouTube. I didn't do anything. I just knew that I had to do it on my own. I didn't want to listen to anybody else's because the ones that I did listen to, I did not agree with. They were still saying, oh, you can have a little contact, or you can go gray rock, or you can have this, you can have your partner share this and about the children, or you can do this or that. No, you can't. They were wrong. They're not professionals. These are people that don't have a certification in life coaching. I also have a degree in criminal investigation and because I was going to be a child advocate for sex crimes. I also have a degree in anatomy and special education. So when you go on these YouTube channels and they who have probably high school education, maybe some college, and they've been through abuse, I'm not disvalidating, but their steps are not always correct, okay? They are selling their programs on how to heal from trauma, okay? They're selling them. I don't sell mine. You know why? Because selling trauma to help someone get over trauma is diabolical. You should not have to pay somebody to help you get over trauma. That's why we have counselors. That's why we have psychotherapists. This is why we have psychologists. This is why we have all kinds of mental health experts. I'm only a life coach. I'm licensed. I paid $4,000, okay, for that course, okay? Not only that, but criminal investigation, that I know criminal minds and how they manipulate people and stuff. Don't buy into these courses of people saying, I can help heal your trauma. It's a money-making scheme. They're not going to help you. They're going to give you the wrong information, because I actually paid for one to see what they were, because she was so popular, right? I actually paid for that course. And everything that she said in that course, and she admitted she did not graduate from college. She was only abused by her parents, okay? She was wrong in every aspect of her healing. Every aspect. Every single aspect. There was a few good pointers. But selling to traumatize people to get over their trauma, and she actually was making it worse for them by giving them plans to confront their trauma, the people that traumatize them. Don't do that. Because when you confront your person that traumatized you, they're going to deny it and they're going to blame shift. You're a horrible child. That's why I had to beat you. You don't do that. You stay the hell away from abusive people. That course should be off YouTube. There's many courses on YouTube for trauma survivors, okay? And they have no certification. They have no degrees in psychology. They have nothing. They just made up these courses to make money off of you. And who knows if they really even experienced trauma. We don't know that. They could make up a lie and say they were. So don't go on those courses. I don't charge anyone. I don't need your money. I just want to help you get through your trauma. But I will tell you that as a trauma survivor of not only having guns held to my head, being robbed after Katrina twice, being essayed, being in situations where I thought I was going to die, being in situations where my parents neglected me, being in situations where I was around dangerous people that I couldn't get away from, being a model around predators, being held there in modeling studios against my will. I have had life experience like you have no idea, because I haven't shared it on here because it's very personal. And I can more than willing tell you these stories, but I haven't shared them because they're very personal to me. But I can tell you, as a trauma survivor, it is like not only my parents, the modeling, the being held at gunpoint twice, being when another hurricane happened and somebody broke into my house while I was laying in bed, and I had to hide under the bed while they robbed my whole house. Okay. And it was 2 teenagers who lost their mother, who was living with their stepdad, or who had cancer. And I was getting the little girls' nails done, feeding them dinner every night, letting them burn CDs to sell to make money, taking them to school, doing things like that. Those were the kids that broke in my house and stole everything. My computers, very expensive jersey dresses, all kinds of stuff. But luckily, they didn't know that because I had just got done with a modeling job, I had 10 grand stuffed inside of a like a puffer jacket in 2 pockets. So they didn't steal that. So luckily, I was able to, pay rent. But they did steal my rent money that was in an envelope on there. They stole everything besides the furniture. And these are people that I help. And I pressed charges. I did get restitution and everything. But I've been through a lot of trauma. And so overcoming trauma takes time. You're not going to wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to just, be over my trauma. It doesn't work that way. If you don't work on yourself, then you're not working on your trauma. Okay? Because you can't expect trauma to go away if you don't work on it. And a lot of people think, and this is the crazy part in some of these seminars that people pay for, is your trauma will fade over time. They don't talk about working on your trauma. They don't talk about talking about your trauma. They just say you need to suppress it. And that eventually that suppression will fade and your memory will forget. Absolutely bullshit. Excuse my language. But these are seminars people are selling on YouTube. Okay? So, I'm telling you, this is already 33 minutes long. If you want to survive your trauma, you have to be the one to work on your trauma. I am now that I'm over my depression, I'm open again for life coaching. And like you guys know, because of the economy, I'm not like these YouTube life coaches who think they're all that and give barely any good information. Trust me, because I've heard it from other people that called me and told me that they've called these life coaches that have like hundreds of thousands of followers. And they said, I got nothing out of it and I just paid $200 for 1 hour. I don't do that. I gave life coaching lessons for free for years. For years, I did that. And I also did indigent care. I also helped people get out of abusive households, got them government assistance apartments. If you think I'm lying, I can bring on the people, the women that I got out of these abusive relationships. I filled out, because some of them were illiterate. They couldn't spell. I had to fill out the forms for them and everything, talk to people on the phone, all this stuff. I got them in housing. I got them food stamps. I got them health care. I got everything, furniture for free, because I know a place that will give, I know many places that will give out used furniture to battered or abused partners or wives or husbands. I've helped many people, okay, for free, because I wanted to. And under the last administration, Joe Biden, we all know we suffered economically. So, as you guys always know, when I started being abused by the people I was helping, where they would send me Cash App and then reverse it, that happened numerous times, or promise that they're going to pay at the end and never did. It really is heartbreaking, because it's not like I'm saying, hey, give me $500 or $200 like these fake life coaches that charge $200, $300 like they're the best life coach on earth. You guys know that I don't care if it's a cup of coffee. I don't care if you give me $5. I don't care if you give me $20. I don't care. I have to limit my life coaching to 1 to 2 hours. It is on you, depending, because it's like counseling. You can't get it all out at one time, okay? So I make notes as we go. That way, because I have my planner and I have my notebook of each name, and I make notes while y'all are giving them to me. So our next session, I'm caught up. I read the notes before our next session. But I just ask that do the right thing. If you send me a Venmo or something, don't do you can also do Zelly. I prefer Zelly. But Cash App screwed me. They say I owe them $70, which I didn't. A scammer took $70 out of my thing. My bank reimbursed me. And then Cash App said, since the bank reimbursed me, I owe them now $70. So it's going to have to be like Venmo or Zelly or something like that. But all I ask is that you donate what you can afford. Don't take away from your children getting food. And if you can't afford it, I'm okay. 1 hour free session if you can't afford to donate. If you can afford to donate and you want 2 hours, donate 2 hours worth of my time. Or if you want 1 hour, donate 1 hour, and then we'll set up a routine session like I do with my other people, okay? But don't reverse the charge. That's just so cruel, especially when I work all day with special needs. I cook, I clean, I live here without my husband during the week. I do everything. I'm taking care of my son. I'm taking care of my dogs. I do everything, guys. And when I have people reversing the charge after I give them my life coaching, it discourages me. And that's why I kept my clients when I kept some clients, but I quit receiving new clients because of what happened. And y'all know this because I told y'all in the last video. But if you want to work on your healing, I'm here for you. And all I ask is for a donation. It could be a cup of coffee, guys. I'm not asking for $200 and $300 like some of these famous life coaches. And yes, some of them are certified, but a lot aren't, because I looked them up. And I've also talked to people that said that they got extra charged by these life coaches because they went over 15 minutes and got charged $30 extra for that 15 minutes, that it wasn't their fault. It was the life coach's fault, answering text messages while on video call. She's answering text messages, and so the ladies or man had to be put on hold, and then she charged them. I mean, come on. These people are scammers. Some of these life coaches are here for the money, and they're not for you. I'm here for you, okay? Do you understand that? My heart is here for you. I've been there. I've done that. It's painful. I was alone. And thanks to you guys, I have a community, and we're all sisters and brothers. And without you, this community would not exist. This YouTube channel would not exist. And you helped me heal. And I thank you. Thank you for helping me heal along my journey. Because in the think about this. I really thought about this. In 5 years, I healed. In 5 years, I've been doing this YouTube channel, talking to people and life coaching. Don't you see how it coincides? You guys help me heal. I love you guys so much. This is 41 minutes. It's going to take a while to upload. But peace, love, harmony. I love you guys so much. And I'm glad I'm not depressed anymore. Thank you. I love you guys. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you for helping me heal. I want to help you heal. That's the main goal. You help me heal. I want to help you heal. Peace, blessings, and prosperity.